world's gone to shit, but there's one thing I know. Oh, it's happened before, it'll happen again. Don't despair, don't give up. If you do, oh, they win. So we ride, keeping our heads down until we're on the other side. Oh, we ride, we ride this bullshit out. The game is rigged, the road is hard, but saddle up and play your cards and ride, keeping our heads down until we're on the other side. Oh, we ride, we ride this bullshit out. Everything's gone to hell, just can't trust anyone. All around us is nonsense. Get your boots, saddle up, take the reins, 'cause today we ride, keeping our heads down until we're on the other side. Oh, we ride, we ride this bullshit out. We ride it out. Ooh, ride. We'll always ride this bullshit out.
Continuing from part 1, we are discussing the domino effect that these horrible rumors have had after being carried to other platforms.
The enablers act shocked as part of the triangulation process. It's an act. When they act like they didn't know the victim was bad, this is when they have been pilled. This is when the toxicity escalates. This is also why they will purposely misunderstand things. They really don't care about the truth at this point. It would work against them achieving what they want and what their boss, the narcissist or narcissist, want. A lot of these comments are that they help spread false accusations and rumors for the purpose of maintaining their own social standing and validating each other, and the narcissist or narcissist, of course. You feel pitted against others. You find yourself in constant competition with another person for the narcissist's attention or approval, especially the enablers. Even if you don't even want the attention, you are forced into a situation where you are attacked over it. Communication becomes indirect. Rather than speaking to you directly, the narcissist sends messages or complaints through a third person. You experience divisive behavior. You notice the narcissist actively creating wedges between you and others by sharing half-truths or encouraging distrust. You feel confused and isolated. The dynamic leaves you questioning your reality, feeling like you are ganged up on, and doubting your worth.
Yeah, that's when the target has been gaslit. Set and enforce clear boundaries. Clearly state what behavior you will and will not tolerate. Do not argue, justify, defend, or explain your decisions to the narcissist or their enablers. Go! Gray rock. If you cannot completely cut off contact, make your interactions as boring and uninteresting as possible. Provide brief, factual answers to avoid fueling the narcissist's need for drama or emotional reaction. Communicate directly when possible. If a third party is involved, try speaking directly to that person to clarify misinformation and get an outside perspective. This can remove the middleman and help dismantle the triangle. Strengthen your support network. Build relationships with people who validate your experiences and are not under the narcissist's influence. Professional help from a therapist is also beneficial. Recognize and name the tactic. Simply identifying the behavior as triangulation can help you maintain perspective and not internalize the manipulation. Remind yourself that you are not crazy. This is an intentional game.
That's for sure. To be honest, I don't wish to control anyone's ability for self-expression. For me, public displays of affection and dressing provocatively promote two things that make me deeply uncomfortable. I feel like I'm being forced to be a voyeur. And many people shift blame and act like you purposely sought this stuff out and then complain about it. No, I was simply at the wrong spot at the wrong time. I don't find it the least bit pleasurable. In fact, it feels just the opposite, like a cruel torture I had to endure due to others enacting their selfishness. There is nothing religious involved. I am not spiritual. There is no connect to God or whatever for me here. It's simply mentally harrowing for me. It puts me into flight or fight mode and makes me feel deeply disturbed and upset. It's triggering. I equate it on the level others would see being forced to watch a murder or abuse would be. And it's not just for my sake. There are many people of all ages, beliefs, etc., who don't want to see that. I see people necking and feeling each other up next to kids. It's abhorrent. And when kids see people dressed or acting a certain way, they'll mimic it. Parents are swearing is nothing compared to this. This is far worse. Between that and the selfishness of blocking the ways of egress for others with their lewd actions, and most parents these days are so self-absorbed, they don't teach these lessons. Parents don't teach their kids that this behaviour is bad. They also don't teach their children to move out of the way for others. They teach their kids that they have some God-given right to block the sidewalk. I've seen people of all ages acting like this, not just the young, and be as rude as they please, giving attitude to elders as if they were worthless peers.
Oh, for sure. Parents don't teach their kids that this behavior is bad.
Now let's compare these to gross and dance as enablers.
Starting off, we have a lot of folks who joined the actual predator, including Dance herself early on. This is also triangulation. This occurred for various reasons. As we mentioned before, Dance was able to pick up more enablers by piggybacking off of another narcissist. These folks, just like the ones on Tumblr, seem to be more enablers, flying monkeys. They claim the screenshots show no real argument, and yet they are happy to join the actual predator. Chances are great that they didn't even bother to look at the screenshots. If they did, they were drawn into the narcissistic embrace. That's why narcissists share many traits with cults. Gross continues to draw in more enablers and doesn't like when someone doesn't seem convinced. He tried his best at Dance to convince folks. If they weren't enough of a threat to stand up and fight, they let these people go because they weren't of much interest. Narcissists enjoy fighters and can sense who is and who isn't, and who will likely follow them. They may even stalk the victim for clues to this effect. Notice how Gross distracts one of the followers by talking about their profile pic right after insulting Miss Gressley. They have no proof, they don't even need it at this point.
They had a folder made up of stuff they tried to take out of context. That was their proof. This was the so-called proof that went around Tumblr against me as I kept gathering actual proof.
In a way, they helped you without knowing it. Sophie Byers mentions a Facebook group, which is also for distraction. No one else had mentioned Facebook. Carl Jensen mirrors the behavior that Lemmy had. He knew nothing about Miss Gressley, yet he takes the real predator's side. He probably got validation from others for that. I'd wager that Sophie did as well. We didn't get to see Ed the animator's replies, but it looks like he's doing the same thing. These are all people who've been willingly suckered into being abusers and defending the real predator. They probably thought they were doing something for the greater good and enjoyed the praise they got. In reality, they made things worse. Gross even thanks his enablers for taking Miss Gressley down. He was basking in the fresh hit of validation he got from these people. Boo, we have a big post here, full of deflection. He mentioned in other screenshots that he sent spies to deal with the minors he was harassing and bragged about it. He claimed Miss Gressley's side was manipulating when that was actually him. This whole paragraph is an attempt to do just that. More blame shifting. There's the if you believe them, you're crazy stuff. There's the if she didn't do this, I wouldn't have to stuff. He tried to make himself look like a hero. Carl was successfully made an enabler. You can see this by how he spreads the lies that Gross created. He also agrees to these lies without batting an eyelash. You can tell, too, that he lacks any empathy and has become an extension of Gross at this point. All part of the smear campaign, and Carl Jensen said it before she did. He's also adding more lies to the narrative to stir up more trouble for validation. Gross must have liked him until he got bored of Carl. And there's the groomer comment. It's funny how he was really the one defending a groomer. Of course we have the age of seams stuff. Same narrative as Tumblr, except the people on Tumblr added to it. There are probably more connections between the additional false accusations on Tumblr and the original stuff, if you dive deeply enough for it.
It's funny, too, how he says Ms. Gressley sent porn, when it was Gross's friend who sent porn, and there's proof of it in the folder that he claimed he looked at. He didn't look at shit. He makes up stuff to others who will blindly believe it, and won't care for actual proof either. The racist stuff was also from the same person who Gross had sent porn to the minors. This is more twisting stories around crap to sucker more people in. This is extremely cult-like. Absolutely horrifying how young people are so easily exploited like this and willing to exploit. I love how Gross mentions Miss Gressley's tyranny, and yet claims it's his community. This is a code for the fact that he is trying to control and dominate, and he didn't like interference. And we have more people who fall for his trap. Nav Blue Coolant is another. So is Uncle Tiffany, and fizzling fireboxes, and there's dance promoting her community.
That community wasn't created on that particular day. I was in it before this stuff went on, so that's an outright lie.
She's trying to capitalize on the situation. By inviting these already brainwashed souls, she knows that she will easily get more attention from them. Or she hoped so, at least. How did it turn out?
She had Sophie in her Discord for a while. There were a few others who would cause drama to make me look bad, and she wouldn't do anything about them. She banned me to make me look like the victim.
This was already part of her discard on you. You had originally been kind to her, and when you realized she wasn't all she seemed and wouldn't give her the attention she desired, she allowed people to harass you. This would allow her to take screenshots and twist the story behind what went on, taking them out of context for her own use. Looking at the screenshots from Tumblr, it's hard to tell if there was one or two singular people who you could out as narcissists. So I'd suspect that one or more brought it from danceinator to Tumblr and continued the triangulation process there. All of these people then became part of that abusive collective. They all show the same signs: the blind faith, lack of empathy, refusal to hear both sides, etc. It doesn't seem to make sense otherwise. A lot of this also looks similar to the first group of people who harassed Miss Gressley before Gross from the non-Thomas related YouTube channel. Some of the insults are similar, and the abuse tactics are, he tried to get two people to make peace and someone decided to harass you more.
Dan? Yes, at one point, it was a 6+ hour diatribe repeating himself constantly with insult after insult hurled at me, getting people to infiltrate the Discord I had looking for evidence to use against me during said 6-hour abuse stream, slandering me constantly on his Patreon, even threatening to push me down the subway steps.
That's truly horrible. The sickening irony here is that these fans tend to cancel out those who they don't agree with, or who unintentionally create an uncomfortable rivalry. They get territorial. Only a certain extremely restricted demographic that fits in their specific expectations are allowed, especially if their homage complements each other, and doesn't encroach on another fan. Again, this is a series of delusional thoughts. They're not reality. They still desire to protect their virtual space from this conceived threat, even when purposely, wrongfully perceived, so they may gatekeep and keep a certain status quo. These are the same people who want free speech, openness, and for everyone to have rights. When a mature person sees this from the outside, they can easily analyse how asinine and downright dangerous these tactics are. The biggest factor in this irony is that as much as they want others to believe they are keeping dangerous types out of the fandom, they fail miserably. This is because they will claim they are trying to keep predators and such out, but that's not the real intention. The White Knight Act is a ruse, a manipulation tactic for their own benefit. It doesn't protect anyone. This is especially true in the case of these prime examples, Haru Monsieur Danceinator Dirtopusser6 and Grosspecans. These actual predators were, and in some cases still are, being defended in the fandom over someone who rankled them because she's older, she's an outsider. Oh, this makes her an easy target. Looking back to the Dan stuff, even his fans did this, but for different reasons. They didn't like that someone was challenging their leader, and the collective as one unit fought her because they didn't want that weakness revealed. Why? Because, as mentioned before, it wasn't just his emotional weakness, his emotional demons anymore. It became those of the collective unit, of anyone who got pilled enough to defend him. Those who remained silent were safe, and those who spoke out were given a horrible narcissistic discard. This is why he does what he does with Rick and the other former Urbexer friends he worked with.
We will continue this discussion in part 2.
This brings up a good point that we haven't really discussed yet. I'd like to mention a bit about white knight syndrome. In Fandom's white knight syndrome, or savior complex, describes fans who compulsively rescue fictional characters, or sometimes other fans' creators, from perceived threats, mistreatment, or negativity, often inserting themselves as protectors against perceived bullies, trolls, or unfair criticism, sometimes to an obsessive degree, stemming from a deep need to feel special, needed, or to fix unresolved personal issues rather than genuinely helping. This behaviour can involve attacking others, idealising their saved character person, and ignoring their own needs, creating unhealthy dynamics within the community. They display 3 especially pertinent behaviours: excessive defence, fiercely defending a character or creator against any criticism, even constructive feedback, seeing it as an attack; idealisation, placing the rescued character or person on a pedestal, ignoring flaws; sense of duty, feeling personally responsible for the well-being or narrative success of their chosen figure; emotional vulnerability, often sensitive and driven by unresolved childhood issues or insecurities, seeking validation through heroism. They may exhibit these behaviours in various ways. Fix it. Fix. Writing fan fiction where they insert themselves as a saviour or resolve the character's trauma. Aggressive defence. Attacking other fans or creators who voice different opinions, often using terms like trolls or haters to justify their actions. Creating toxic spaces. Fandoms can become echo chambers where any dissenting voice is shunned or attacked by knights. You might ask how they relate to narcissists. These individuals are easily manipulated by the narcissist, as the narcissist sees them as extremely useful for their narrative. Narcissists love a white knight who is willing to defend them without challenging logic. The narcissist can have many white knights. These are often the most vocal and belligerent, pugnaciously aggressive enablers. These are the ones who don't care for logic, but set the scene for the narrative. They're the ones who plant the rumours for others to spread. In this case, Brewstation, Meet the Starskies Panistry, Wreck on the Rails, Trainster, 6 Lovely Tenders, Woodland Scenic Valmillion, and several others who were most willing to comment and spread the false rumours would be the White Knights. Some of them even mentioned how they wanted to defend the fandom, and similar terms. This is a stereotypical White Knight comment. A few others are as such, "You're being immature." They constantly said this of Nermal, and purposely didn't care that this reflected back of them. It's projection. Others include, "You need to touch grass, get a life." "You're harassing her, stop being a bully. They don't owe you anything." Often directed at fans criticising a creator-developer. "It's just their art style, creative vision. If you don't like it, leave. They have a right to their opinion." While simultaneously trying to shut down the other person's opinion, don't attack someone for what they like. You must be a miserable person to say that. "You're just toxic." White Knights often attack the critic's character or motivation rather than addressing the substance of the criticism, labelling the person as part of a toxic fandom. It's just a fictional character show game. This minimises the legitimate concerns or strong feelings of other fans by suggesting they are overreacting to something trivial. They are just doing their best. This defence is often employed when a creator makes a mistake or produces something of lower quality, framing any critique as being insensitive to the creator's effort. Why are you so obsessed with insert minor flaw or other criticism here? This attempts to paint the critic as fixated on minor details, distracting from potentially valid points of criticism.
Right. You can easily see how the connection between this and narcissists exists. These behaviors are common to enablers when they have been drawn in and manipulated by the narcissist.
Thomas Fandom has some pretty strange ideas that are accepted by a large part of the fandom, such as humanized engines, engines who are hybrid with animals, fetishized versions of these combinations, shipping, creepypasta or horror-related things which including maiming the engines or turning them into zombies, etc.
They may not like that Rule 34 exists, and they have a right to feel that way, even if an older fan enjoys engaging in it. But they need to respect that fan unless the fan is actually doing inappropriate things, not when they can manipulate something for their own benefit.
What the hell is shipping?
Creating a narrative where they are in a sexual or romantic relationship.
Oi, to be honest, those are some really, somber and unnerving common themes. Most people have no place to throw stones at Miss Gresley and fans like her, as they seem to be living in glass houses themselves. So many fucking hypocrites in it.
Our next and final episode will be a special one, discussing in department the situation involving Tumblr user Haru MMD, Cadence Railway, Borketh, and Woodland Scenics, also known as Valmillion.
Atop a burdened donkey rode a stranger into town, tilted in the saddle, one leg dragging on the ground. He had crooked eyes, a crooked nose, could look both ways as he crossed the road. The rope that held his pants up was barely even tied. He slid off his steed and took a big swig from a flask. Then he said out loud, although nobody had asked, I'm just a dumb fuck from bumblefuck nowhere. He had bloodshot eyes, a dripping nose. Then through all the chaos we all started hearing clops. He was the dumb fuck from bumblefuck nowhere. Look, my friends, are you sure you wanna go there? Said the dumb fuck from bumblefuck nowhere. Oh, to my surprise, I saw a glint of fire in those crooked looking eyes. He was the dumb fuck from bumblefuck nowhere. The dumb fuck from bumblefuck nowhere. And it sure was a sight to see. They set 10 men up, he knocked 10 men down, and any man who took a stand was sentenced then to die. He was a dumb fuck from bumblefuck nowhere. He was the dumb fuck from bumblefuck nowhere. Oh, the dumb fuck from bumblefuck nowhere.